and welcome back to Westeros Weekly. I'm Leanna Aguilera, and joining me today, Patrick Fabian. Thank you so much for coming in today.
House Hamlin in the house.
I really appreciate it. You guys may know Patrick as Howard Hamlin on Better Call Saul, but I know him as a Game of Thrones super fan.
Love it, love it, love it. Appointment TV, and I love last night's episode.
Last night's episode was so good. We're going to be breaking down everything you need to remember from the Queen's Justice. Because, you know, they say a Lannister always pays their debts, but apparently the Tyrells get the last word. Ooh. Plus, we have exclusive quotes from Nikolai Coster-Waldau talking about the biggest Game of Thrones theory out there.
What's that?
Stay tuned. We'll be talking about it. But let's jump right into the Night's Watch. We have to talk about the biggest moment of the night, in my opinion, which was the fact that Euron came and brought those regal gifts for Cersei.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? I think he was showboating a little too much.
A little too much. Walking through the crowd, like just waving, like he's like the ish.
Well, the thing is, it's not his throne room. I mean, he thinks it is. He's acting like it is, but it's not his yet. And so to sort of waltz in there the way he did, I get it. And the fact that Cersei sort of sat there and didn't tip her hat about what she felt about him sort of taking over the throne room, once again shows that she really has the power anyways.
Well, and also I love that he had said, like, you know, this was my hopeful engagement gift for you. And she shut him down and she's like, yeah, after the war, honey.
Boy, typical, right?
After
Buy me
the
dinner,
war.
take me to a movie, yeah.
What did you think of Euron's, like, side jab to Jamie?
Again, weirdly, I somehow, the Kingslayer I have an affection for.
Yeah.
You know, he lost his hand, he's trying his best in a really bad situation. And I don't think he's earned the right to go ahead and jab him like that publicly. So, you know, who doesn't want to see him get his throat, you know, slammed sometime?
I don't think that I think you're right. I really don't think that Euron has earned the right to act like this big of a bad guy.
Which is why I think he's getting set up for a fall. Although, so far, everything seems to be cutting his way.
Speaking of cutting moments, Cersei getting her revenge. Oh my gosh. When she sat down Ellaria and laid out her master plan of how she was going to get her revenge on the fact that she killed Marcella, what was your thought when you're watching the scene?
First of all, I didn't see it coming, and then when it got executed, pardon the pun, I thought, oh, of course that's the way you do it, because don't crack her head open like a nut. You can't do that. It's too quick.
Yes.
So what's long and slow, but what's the torture? And the exquisite torture is putting her in the same position that she was put in.
We actually have that clip, so let's take a look.
Your daughter will die here in this cell, and you will be here watching when she does. You'll be here the rest of your days. If you refuse to eat, we'll force food down your throat. You will live to watch your daughter rot, to watch that beautiful face collapse to bone and dust, all the while contemplating the choices you've made.
Oh, wow. Whether you love her or hate her, you have to commend Cersei for her vicious ways of torture.
Absolutely. And you know what? It almost looks like it pains her as much as it pains the people who are going to die, which is kind of amazing.
You think it pains her? I think she gets her rocks off on it, as we saw in the next scene.
Well, yeah, talk about a full-service Cersei this week, right?
Oh my gosh.
Who knew that the turn on and the, you know, forget a glass of wine, let's just torture a mother and daughter for a little bit.
But also, I love how Jamie's like, no one can see us like this. And she's like, I'm the queen. I do not care anymore.
Excuse me, we need fresh sheets in the bedroom.
Okay, speaking of another awkward moment. Okay, well, we got a happy moment first. We got a Stark family reunion.
Yay!
Yay!
At first I thought it was going to be Arya.
You think?
Well, at first I thought Arya had made it all the way back to the north. Like she took like the, I don't know, the...
expressway.
Yeah, she took the train, you know, I don't know. So I was sort of, I forgot Bronn was like right there at the watch, right?
Yeah, so he came down. We got a really sweet hug between them. It was really great.
Yeah.
But then he and Sansa are like talking and she's trying to understand these three-eyed raven abilities.
Yeah.
And he just comes in with the creepiest line.
Creepstein,
Okay,
man.
let's relive this and then we're gonna dissect it. Let's roll the clip.
Bran,
I'm sorry for all that's happened to you. I'm sorry it had to happen here, in our home. It was so beautiful that night. Snow falling. Just like now. And you were so beautiful. In your white wedding dress.
I have to go back inside, Bran.
I'll stay a bit longer.
Yeah, you stay a little bit longer.
You stay a little bit.
Think about what you just said.
You just stay out there. Like, you could have said anything to prove
Good
that
to
you've
see
got
you.
the
Your hair
sight.
looks nice. You've gained some weight. Congratulations. You're seeming healthy.
Or it was so cool to see you take Winterfell back, or like that army was amazing. But no, let's talk about the night that you got raped.
Happy wedding. But here's the thing, you know, in case he led with, I'm going to distance you from me as quickly as possible to lay down the new rules of the land. I am not the guy you used to know.
Yeah.
I am not part of your world.
I don't want Winterfell. I'm not looking to take it from you or Jon.
But it was so creepy.
It was really creepy.
Really creepy.
Something that surprised me last night, Ser Jorah's grayscale is gone.
How about that? All you had to do was actually just stick a needle in there and rip it off.
And then rub some ointment on it, and you're good.
Hey, you're fine. Maybe it was Vaseline. I don't even know. Maybe it was Vicks Vapor Rub, so it stung a little bit.
I just love that that's how they cured it. Like,
And
that's all you had to do.
Sam was probably looking through the books and like, grayscale. Oh, rip the skin off and put some salve on it. Well, I can do that. That's fine.
And I love how the Grand Maester's like, how did you do it? And he's like, I read the book, I followed the instructions, and that was it.
Good.
Good job.
Let's go to the island and cure them all, right?
Exactly. We actually have a clip of their interaction.
Daenerys Stormborn convinced me otherwise. The only place for me is back with her. I owe my life. Her. And you.
And just like that, he's leaving the Citadel.
Khaleesi, here I come.
I know. I hope that they actually reunite, because she said, like, you can't come back unless you get it cured.
I mean, she actually said, go cure yourself. She thought, there's no way in hell he's going to do that.
She was like, bye. Thank you so much for all that you did.
I can't wait to see her face when he knocks on the door. Hey, it's me. I did what you said.
And she's like, oh, snap. I need to, like, clear some room in my advisory board to, like, welcome you back in there.
Can we get another chair in here, please? Jorah has come back.
But, you know, Dany sent her Unsullied army to go take Casterly Rock.
Oh.
And they realized that none of the Lannisters were actually home.
Terrible, because at first I was like, oh, it's the whole Trojan horse thing. I love the speech that Tyrion gives about saying, like, you know, my father gave me the terrible job, and I made the terrible job. Good for me, and it's going to help me now, and I'm going to be great, and it's going to really be cool. And instead, it's not cool at all.
And instead, we found out that Jaime sent all of the Lannister army to Highgarden to surprise attack the Tyrells.
Absolutely. Although I will say, Jaime on horseback is a refreshing sight to see again. You know,
really
he hasn't been on
was.
horseback in a while, so it's good to see him.
Also, I love that Bronn, his right-hand man, just right beside him. He's one of my all-time favorites. I love Bronn.
He's great.
But so they go and they take Highgarden, and he sits down with Olenna.
Olenna, who seemingly is waiting to accept whatever fate is given her.
Yes, but also, like, still be in charge. I loved the line that we were talking about when she says, like, how did we fare? Like, how did the Tyrell army do?
Did we do okay? And he's like, yeah, you did okay. And she's like, well, we are golden roses. What do you expect?
We're not really known
not
for our
fighters.
fighting. We're just known
lovers.
for our money.
Yeah.
And then he says, you know, I negotiated a dignified death for you.
Which immediately makes me go, having just watched Cersei give somebody else a death sentence, what did she have in store for Lady Tyrell? That's what I want to know.
She wanted to run her through the streets of King's Landing. She wanted to fillet her alive. She wanted to behead her in front of everyone. But Jaime's like, I actually just got you some really sweet poison.
How about that? The Lannisters are nice.
Yeah, Jaime's nice. So he gives her just some really sweet poison. She asks if it'll hurt, and he said, no, I made sure of it.
Puts in a nice Cabernet. It's going to be a nice way to go.
Sounds like a really nice way to go.
Really good. Any last words, Lady Tyrell?
I mean, I think that we need to give the award for the iciest moment of the night. Goes to the one, the only, the most badass grandma in Westeros, Olenna Tyrell. Listen to what she said. So good.
I'd hate to die like your son, clawing at my neck, foam and bile spilling from my mouth, eyes blood red, skin purple. Must have been horrible for you, as a king's guard, as a father. It was horrible enough for me. A shocking scene. Not at all what I intended. You see, I'd never seen the poison work before. Tell Cersei. I wanted to know it was me.
So good.
Ouch. From beyond, a poke in the eye at Cersei.
Here's my question for you, Patrick. Do you think Jaime will actually tell Cersei?
I think it's provided Jaime with a weapon in his toolbox if Cersei crosses him or hurts him.
Exactly. Well, because obviously, like, Cersei didn't react to Tommen's death. She didn't really process it.
Not at all. Not at all. Wasp compartmentalized.
And it's like when Joffrey died, she was hellbent on getting revenge on Joffrey's death.
Right. Passion.
When Marcella died, she just now got revenge. She doesn't necessarily need revenge on Tommen, other than it was the Tyrell's deaths that led him.
They're still to blame without a doubt. But you're right, she hasn't processed it yet. So if Jaime brings up this information, it will open up a whole well of awfulness in her.
But there's no way for her to get revenge because they've killed all the Tyrells.
No, so if you're going to deliver that, you better deliver it from a distance.
Moving into keeping up with Khaleesi.
Khaleesi!
We're catching up with our favorite mother of dragons this week because it was the epic showdown. We've been waiting for this forever.
Her and Jon, King of the North, and the mother of dragons. Who doesn't want to see that?
Finally meeting. What did you think of their initial reaction to each other?
Well, you know, I have to say, I was in Davos's camp, you know, after all this highfalutin stuff, and she's sitting on the throne and welcoming him, you know, she does need him, and that whole, it felt like the two kids of the family could actually sit down and say, like, can we just talk? And instead she acted like, you know, like the fathers and the mothers.
Yeah.
So Jon's standing there weaponless with just Davos on his side. I love Davos saying, like, this is Jon Snow.
He's the king of the North.
King of the North. Anything else? Anything else you need to know?
Anything else?
So I didn't think it went well for her. I thought she looked like she was wearing a part that she doesn't wear very well.
I think that she has stepped into the uber regal realm this year, and while she is acting very queen-like, she is acting a little bit like her father's daughter at
Sometimes
times.
I think she was better when she was on the road, making it up as she went along.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Seriously. Well, we'll be getting to this in a little bit. I was going to quote something from the teaser trailer, but Patrick hasn't watched it.
I haven't watched it yet.
So he doesn't like to watch any of the teasers,
Ever,
which I kind of love.
But I'll do it today.
But we did get to see that, you know, Tyrion was talking with Jon and kind of convinced him to kind of, you know, appeal to Dany's better side, that they both need something from each other.
Well, you know, Tyrion also was reminding him, one, that he looks really good standing up on a cliff. And he does. Let's face it, Jon Snow looks good in profile.
He looks good brooding.
And secondly, that, you know, even though he's a king, he's still he's a young guy, right? And so he's making a young guy mistake. It's two egos in the throne room, and Tyrion is there as the hand of the king is really supposed to be there, or the hand of the queen, to go ahead and be like, right, you can go ahead and left that, but what you really ought to think about is this, and think about that, and think about that. So the boy king can go ahead and go, oh, maybe I'll do this now.
I do think it was interesting that they kept referring to Jon as King of the North, but Dany kept saying, like, I'll make you Warden of the North.
Right. Does that feel like a step up or a step down?
A down. A
right?
downgrade.
I mean, king is king.
But she was going to allow the Greyjoy daughter to be the queen.
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny. So is she only is it only ladies that she's going to go ahead and give royalty to?
I mean,
a warden. It sounds like he's like a park ranger.
Exactly.
No offense to park rangers, who I love, by the way.
But we did eventually see that they reached a little bit of a mutual understanding.
I wanted more, though. Didn't you want more out of that scene?
I did want more. Okay, let's watch this scene.
I will allow you to mine the dragon glass and forge weapons from it. Any resources or men you need, I will provide for you.
Thank you. So you believe me, then, about the Night King and the army of the dead?
You'd better get to work, Jon Snow.
Patrick, do you think she believes him?
Not a bit. Did you see her braids? She's spending all day making her hair looking good. She's not worried about it.
Her hair does look really great this year.
It looks particularly good. Well, you know what? Again, that goes in the idea of, like, she's become more regal. And a little more stiff, both in the way that she acts and talks. It's almost like she's trying on something that doesn't quite fit her.
Exactly.
And for this scene, I think I was missing either a line or an exchange or maybe a scene before this scene.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden she's like, yeah, go ahead and mine the dragon stone and all that. I'm not sure why the give came so easily.
We did have the scene between her and Tyrion where he was explaining to her, like, look, I still vouch for this guy. Like, just let him have the dragon glass. It doesn't, like, matter to you. So, but I did think that it was a little abrupt.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe it's just because we want to see a little more strings and sparks.
Exactly.
Because we're romantics is what we are. We're romantics about this.
I was expecting to see a little bit more sparks. It was interesting to me that they did not quite hit it off.
Well, maybe, guess what? They don't hit it off right now, but later on.
Do you think that that's okay, even though she's his aunt?
I hear wedding bells.
Let's move on to something that I'm really excited about. Every week we catch up with one of your favorite Game of Thrones stars or celeb superfans to do our Wildfire Fast Five. All right, Patrick, 5 questions. Answer them as quickly as you can.
Right.
Ready, set. Who's your favorite character and why?
Littlefinger, because he's going to live.
He's like a cockroach. He just won't die.
Don't call him that.
If you could bring back one character back to life, who would it be?
Oh, Catherine Stark. Don't we all love her?
Love her. Who do you think won't make it out alive this season?
Spider.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think it's going to come from left field, but I think he's going to be gone.
Okay. Which unlikely team up would you like to see before the series ends?
Oh, you know what? Is it possible that Jon Snow and Cersei actually somehow form an alliance? Is it possible? Is it possible?
You're blowing my mind
I'm just
right
saying,
now.
White Walkers are big.
Lastly, who do you think will be on the Iron Throne before the end of the season?
I hope that Arya Stark is.
You think? That's a long jump there.
It's a long jump, but you know what? Did you see how fast they got from the wall down to Dragonstone?
Here's my question.
That.
We were talking about the fact that, like, we have no idea what the timeline is at this point because Jon got to Dragonstone real quick, but Arya is still somewhere in the middle of the woods.
And so either they have really bad maps or they just sort of forget which way they're going every now and then.
Or that Arya decided not to actually go back to Winterfell and she's going to continue with her plan to keep killing Cersei.
Look who's plotting ahead.
I'm thinking that's it. But we are going to take a look right now at the race to the Iron Throne and kind of check in with our main players. So Cersei crushed it this week.
Sure did.
She's still on the throne. She's eliminating all of her enemies. Poor Dany, last place this week.
Yeah, it's funny. You got 3 dragons and you're in 3rd place. That doesn't make sense. But you know what? She's a comer, as they say in the horse racing.
But also, it was just so interesting that last week we saw that she had made all this progress with all those women, and they're all pretty much dead at this point.
What a bummer. What a difference a week makes in Westeros.
And Jon did make a little bit of progress in terms of getting his dragon glass.
Sure. Though, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
How long does it take to mine dragon glass into weapons? That's what I'd like to know.
Yeah, and also, are they going to be making the weapons there at Dragonstone, or are they just going to be taking it back with them and then making the weapons up at the north?
Maybe little hand grenade dragon glasses? Maybe little slivers? How much dragon glass do you need?
Exactly.
Call Sam. He seems to know.
Yeah, seriously, though. I do want Sam to come back, but...
Yeah. We'll see.
Well, this is where we're going to keep talking about all of our theories, because there is one theory out there that I'm so excited about, and we actually caught up with Nikolai Coster-Waldau about it. And let me just paint you a little picture, Patrick.
Alrighty.
So, you know Cersei's prophecy.
Yes.
Maggie predicted that all 3 of her children would die, and she ended the prophecy with, "When your tears have drowned you, the Valonqar shall wrap his hands around your pale white throat and choke the life out of you."
Wait. What's the V word? What's that?
Valonqar, which is High Valyrian for little brother. Now, naturally, you would think of Tyrion.
Sure.
But Cersei's older than Jaime by about 5 minutes. So it could be Jaime who turns on Cersei. So we actually caught up with Nikolai at the Game of Thrones premiere and talked to him about this theory, and watch how he stumbles through his response.
It's a valid theory. I can only imagine it would be a very specific, very extreme circumstances that would where it could even be a possibility. But who knows?
Oh, he's totally put on the spot.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I'd like to rerun that for the court, please.
But I really think that would be the case.
You know, that'd be great. But okay, then we land to. So is it a one-handed strangle?
Okay.
Or is it a one-handed golden strangle?
Oh,
that sounds a little dirty.
Could he actually? Or like use
pin
the
her,
hand, pin her, and then use the
other
one.
Arr.
Okay.
So he could do it.
Yes.
Or he could just take the hand off and just beat her.
Oh, I kind of like that.
But the prophecy is strangling. The image of Tyrion being up at her throat with his legs at her knees, that certainly is good. Maybe they have to be in water. You know what? I don't know. I can see this either way. It seems like a 50-50. It's a coin toss.
There are other theories out there that still think that it could be Jon Snow. But I don't think that's...
I still don't think of Jon Snow as a killer.
Yeah, I don't...
Right?
Really?
I don't think of it as in his heart. Although he did say this episode, he goes, "I know what I am," and I think he implies that he's a killer, but I don't think he is. Again, that profile, he's Bono. He's a lead singer.
We do need to talk about the fact that Jon Snow made sure to go when he mentioned that he's kind of, Jon Snow's a zombie right now, let's be real.
He's kind of been resurrected guilt. You bring up resurrection at dinner, it becomes a very awkward conversation.
Awkward.
You either have to defend
awkward.
it, they have to believe it, you have to excuse yourself and go to the bathroom. Yeah, I know.
And I love how Dany's like, did he say that he was stabbed in the heart?
She did catch it. And Tyrion, quickly is like, did he say that?
Yeah.
I didn't. I don't know. Anyways,
sure.
what's for lunch?
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
So much happened in this week's episode, but we're going to talk about next week's episode. Patrick's about to watch the teaser for the very first time,
Very
so let's take a look.
My only venture at this moment is re-establishing control over this continent and every person on it.
All my allies are gone. I'm losing.
You can count on the Iron Bank as soon as the gold arrives.
Enough with the clever plans.
Enough with the clever plans.
Wow. I think she's being dismissive to Tyrion on that one, right?
Do you think she's going to take Olenna Tyrell's advice to just ignore Tyrion?
Oh, man. If she does, that puts him out of a job.
I know.
But it may bring some dragon stuff involved, right?
But, okay, here's the thing. All of their plans were so clever. And it was so great, and I was so excited about, like, the Casterly Rock and coming in and sneaking inside, but none of their cleverness has paid off. At this point, she might just have to accept the fact that she needs to kill a couple thousand people to grab that throne.
You must use brute force. Look, Greyjoy did it with his fleet, brought them all back. I mean, so there is something to be said that brute force sometimes win in this brutish land we live in called Westeros.
Here's my question for you. Do you think that one of Dany's dragons is going to die by the end of the season?
I do, only because they showed that giant crossbow into the skull of the giant dragon, and I thought you don't make that, you don't show us that if it's not going to put somebody down. And she's got 3 dragons, so she's got one to spare, don't you think?
I don't think she has one to spare.
Maybe not spare. I'm sorry. No offense to the dragons.
Here's my advice to Dany's dragons: please don't be like Rickon. Zigzag, please.
There you go.
Do not run in a straight line. There's no. Of course he died.
They'll catch you.
Serpentine dragons. Serpentine.
Serpentine fire. Boom, boom, boom.
Patrick, I could talk about Game of Thrones with you all day, but we are out of time right now.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for stopping by. It was such a delight. And thank you all guys for watching right now. Be sure to subscribe to Entertainment Tonight's YouTube channel, and be sure to like this video if you had fun. Keep it locked to ET Online for all your Game of Thrones news. Thanks so much. I'm Leanna Aguilera. This is Patrick Fabian. We'll see you next time. Bye.